What's going on, players? You know who it is, you know what it be. This is episode 83 of The Wave. Thank God you're here. I'm going to keep it short because I don't know what I'm talking about. My guest this week is Mr. Max Geers. He's a wonderful songwriter with a new single out, Howlin' Out the Moon. Please check it out. Without further ado, let's get to the interview.
Yep.
Well, you want to launch it off here?
Yeah, let's run it.
What's kicking, player?
How's
Max
it been?
Gears, baby.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me out. I'm
Absolutely,
really
man.
excited.
Dude, it's crazy how much in a very short amount of time I heard your name come out of everybody's mouth. You know what I mean? Like, everybody at a very similar point in time was like, have you met Max yet? And what do you think? And I was like, I have no idea who he is, and people keep saying shit, so I got to find out. And then we had our first interaction at on a Monday night Tin Roof. Is that right?
Monday Night Tin Roof, yep.
And I feel like when I got there, it was right when you took a break and you were like, you want to play a song? It's like even before I get to like hear you play, it's like, okay, I guess we're kicking it now. Like, we're doing that thing.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you killed it that night. So you are one hell of a musician.
Well, thanks, man.
Yeah, so.
Well, it's nice to go out and see a songwriter and immediately have that that camaraderie of why don't you give them something, man? Like that's a very kind thing to offer, and it's a nice way to play your set. You know, not enough of us share our time. Like I have an issue with that, and just when you get a 3-hour slot and a certain amount of money, you're like, okay, I got to play 3 hours. Sometimes it's nice to have a friend come do 40, come do 30.
100%. And, like, that's one thing that I kind of, like, music's about sharing, right? Music's about love. Music's about emotions. Music's about all this stuff. And, like, and I understand the whole aspect of you got 3 hours. It's your show. You got 3 hours to do whatever you want. But you got to let if somebody comes up to me ever, and even it's like one time I was up in Cleveland playing a show, and this kid came up, and he was a young kid. He was like, hey, I don't know if you're going to be cool with this, but could I play one song for you? And like, I know you always have that thought in the back of your head, like, well, this person could be way, way, way blow me out of the water. And then what am I going to step up and do? Sorry.
That's very kind of you to have that confidence in them, to say, what if they're better than me? Because most of the time, in that case, I'm like, if I'm doing my thing and you ask to play a song, I have to question why you want to do that. Maybe you're just not getting time other places for no reason. You're super talented. Or maybe you're awful, and like you never know how that's going to play out. And it's nice to go out on that limb for people. Like someone had to do that for you, most likely. Someone had to do that for me, most definitely. Like I remember being a kid and people just letting you sit in because you're a kid, And without those experiences, sometimes you do got to be the awful one. You got to flop.
Absolutely. No, this kid, but he came up and he shredded. His guitar skills put me on the ground. I was like, man, how the heck am I gonna come up here and one up this kid? But I couldn't. He did what he had to do. But there's times that I've been at shows and I'm like, hey, they're taking a break, and hey, can I get up here and jump up here and sing a song real quick? And they're like, oh, no, I don't think the house would like that. But it's like, really, I've worked in the music industry and the bar scene, and the house doesn't really care what you're doing. As long as you're doing some music for the 3 hours that you got or 4 hours that you got, they just want to be hearing something go. So again, like there is that toss up in the air, if that makes sense.
For sure.
Of different things and different vibes. But again, I think that no matter who you are, whatever, if you come up to me, really, I would love to let somebody have a step, just to step their foot in the water and try to see what it's about. You know what I mean? Because that's what it's about. We're all here doing the same thing at the end of the day, and we're all living a good life and got to live it together.
For sure, man. It's cool when you feel called in a moment to get up there and contribute and show people what you got, and like it's so different when you are established, when you already got your stage time, but you're saying like, no, I want to step up here and do this, and there's a lot of barriers with that, and it's uncomfortable. But I think it takes a level of humbleness and a level of crazy in a really positive way to say, no, fuck it, you should let me up there.
Exactly.
And I think like the maniacs that do go to open mics, that they're absolute killers, and they want to be around the amateurs, and they want to try some risky shit. Like that's something I'm missing in my life, is participating in more of the, why don't I try something random tonight, like, and like, isn't there a lot of great songwriting and just the spitball of it all?
Spitball, 100%.
Well, what's your process like?
Songwriting wise?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, sometimes it comes. Like last night, I had a show over at Tin Roof last night in Cincinnati, and it was funny because I'm singing one of my songs, "Dive," and it's a great song that people love and get into. And my buddy, one of my buddies, he's asleep in his chair. So I'm sitting there singing my song, and then all of a sudden I go, and Rob's asleep in his fucking chair. And then everybody was like, this is hilarious. And then that was kind of a chant that we started doing in the middle of this song. Like, and I changed the whole chorus of this song to the whole last two choruses of the song. We're all chanting, Rob's asleep in his fucking chair. And it was
That's
hilarious. He's sitting there snoozing.
And that's still the chorus to this song?
No, it wasn't.
Okay, oh,
His name
just
was
that-
Rob, and he was sleeping in a chair, and I'm
Okay,
just
yeah.
sitting up there making it up while we
Word.
went. So
I
if that
thought you
makes
meant you
sense.
had changed the song after that moment to always include him.
No,
And I was
I
like,
mean-
but that's great to have a malleability about your set where like you're playful, you're opportunistic in that kind of a way.
Yeah, so again, you got to be a crowd pleaser. You got to get people engaged. Is one of the big things that I want to work on in my stage presence. Is I think I do somewhat of a good job of it, but there's always room to grow with everything, even with songwriting.
Yeah.
And jumping back to your question is kind of coming down to the songwriting part of things. It's a difficult thing. You write music. I mean, sometimes you are on a brain fart for weeks on end. You know what I mean? And you're sitting there and you're like, okay, well, I need some more inspiration. What am I going to do? You hear all these songs, and I mean, really, a lot of songs are similar, just portrayed differently, emotionally portrayed differently. If you look at a lot of the mainstream stuff, it's all kind of the same words, just mixed differently, if that makes sense.
There's a lot of common, provenly resonant themes. You know,
Exactly.
and I think when you talk about your own similarities to your tunes, like we are equipped with our belt that we step up to the table with. You know, you are a craftsman, and what you take in as raw materials and then turn is going to have some of the similarities because it is your touch on that. And then we start to look at things that are highly, and I don't even want to say viral, but highly pleasing, without a lot of grit and grind. You start to look at those things as safe bet, low risk investments. And I'm sure the industry plays on that a ton.
Absolutely, yeah. So I don't know. So here I got a question for you. What's your steps in your songwriting?
Well, I tend to. I'm like I hope it falls out kind of a guy. Like I have a hard time with any real measured intent. Like I can take a premise and I can go write you 3 songs, and one of those is gonna feel like the song that hit that premise. But most of the time, I'd prefer to, just fumble around and spit some sounds, and something clicks, and it's like, we proceed in this direction. And once you got that musing, I want to see how far it will take you. Because it's great when the song writes itself in 15 minutes, but sometimes you're 2 months in trying to figure out what's wrong with that second verse still, and it just takes falling into that to kind of fix it.
100%. I mean, I have hundreds of songs that I've started off and I haven't even looked back onto just yet. You know what I mean? Which is nice that we have stuff that we can go back onto in one of these days and look back onto. But I do sometimes when I write my music is I like to not rush it, but I like to get it almost done there and then, just so, because that's what I'm feeling then and there. You know, does it make sense?
Yeah,
And
to get the full image, it's like I still need to be in this setting, this frame of mind. And as long as you don't break up with that feeling, like the moment that you walk out the room, the moment that you go do something else.
100%. That's
Yeah.
and it's just like, that's why it's always nice to record a little clip of it, because like if it's like, oh, I gotta run and I gotta do this, at least we can get a little tiny clip of it so we can get that feeling. But again, it depends. It's here and there, but sometimes I do think that when writing a piece, because emotions come through your bodies all the time, and there's so many different emotions, and sometimes you'll never get the same emotions that you once felt. You know what I mean? All emotions are different.
Yeah.
And so writing that piece, I say that most of my stuff I like to write within 2 hours, 3 hours of sitting there, if that's how long it takes. I mean, I want to get it done then and there, so then I can move forward with it and try to grow it, but also that I at least got a rough platform of what I wanted in that time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And do you find another writer in the room helps? Do you find it's a deterrent? from you getting to where you want to go with things?
I love writing with other people. But it's like all different things. It's like even making plays for a football game. You know what I mean? Coaches got to sit there and make a play, but I don't know if they do better making a play on their own and then bringing the play to the whole squad and then talking about it and going in there and mixing it up and doing it that way. If that makes any sense. I do like writing with people, but I also there's some stuff that it's just like it sometimes flows so nice that it's like it just happens, and then I'll bring it to somebody and I want your feedback on it. I want to hear what you got to say about this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of placing it out together all at the same time. Like, if that makes sense.
Well, that makes perfect sense, and I really I feel that in the way where it's like I want to get my idea out in 2 or 3 hours here. I want to feel it. I want to contain it and try to paint a picture adequately. And then if I can follow up with a great writer and consult on things like Kevin Fox, a mutual friend.
Absolutely.
He's a great guy for that kind of thing. I like sending him a lyric sheet and saying, talk shit about this,
100%.
When I play it for him, getting feedback in those moments is highly crucial because the first time that someone in the creative songwriting sphere hears something, they start charting. They come to their own conclusions about it.
Yep.
And it's the second verse is the first verse, and the first verse might be a bridge, and who knows what you're doing over here, but we should move it.
Yeah.
Or capo 2 more up. Like really simple things that end up being just the fitting of the seams. It's like when you're watching something get knit and it gets pulled together, and it's like, oh shit.
It's that satisfying.
Yeah, it's ecstasy. It's the greatest feeling in the world when a song finally knits itself up right.
100%. And again, it takes time to knit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it doesn't happen overnight. Sometimes you got an idea that happens overnight, but I think at the end of the day, like I have songs that I'll be playing live and I'm singing it and I'm like, you know what, maybe I need to change that word, flip-flop these words. Or sometimes I'm even playing a song live and a different phrase comes and I bullshit and make something else up that I was like, oh, this is what my mind just told me to do. And
that's awesome.
So sometimes that happens.
How do you catch those moments? Do you have concerns there? Or when something clicks, do you retain it?
They're quick. Those moments come by quick.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And they're really hard to capture when you're in the moment and you're feeling it and you're also at work. You know what I mean? Like, you call that your flow state. It's like watching Michael Jordan yam on a dude. It's like he didn't think about doing that. He just did it.
Yep.
But he has a camera crew there. So when that guy got yammed on, we got great content. If you want this song, you need it captured right then and there.
Right then and there.
It's so tough.
It's tough. It's the toughest thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's a crazy thing. Writing the song is cool. It's frustrating. It's powerful. It's a lot of different. There's a lot of them. Again, emotions is the best thing I can say about music. I think personally, it's just a feeling.
And what was your first calling to do it?
So it's funny. Like my whole life, I've been intrigued by music. My buddy ended up showing me a song when we were young by a group called Carolina Liars.
Cool.
And it was called "Show Me What You're Looking For." You know that song?
I'm not familiar. Sing it.
Okay. It's like "Show me what you're looking for," and then I forget the rest of the words to be honest. But
that's such a catchy line. I feel like I've heard that at some point.
I don't know. It was way back when, not too long ago. I mean, probably 10 years ago. I listened to that song, and then I was like, he showed me the music video. He's like, "This song's killer," and I was like, you know what? I'm really intrigued by this. I want to sing. And then I ended up spending like 4 hours that night memorizing. Now I can't even think of that song because we've memorized so many other things since then.
Yeah, isn't it crazy how, you have a filing cabinet in your head of chords and lyrics?
Oh, yeah.
And the sifting of them. Like, I think that one of the greatest things about being able to step into a cover gig when you're also learning to write is the fact that once those things get under your hands, those are what fall you in. Like, you're stealing from the greats. You're playing the hits, and that should bring something out of you. I've been giving a crazy pep talk to my friends recently saying, hey, if you make money playing the hits and you don't write any goddamn hits, then you don't deserve to make a living off it. Is that true? No. If you're trying, that's awesome. But we all need a little bit of get up and do something about it. And God damn it, like your heroes did, You know, McCartney did that for me. I want to write one of those songs that means something like that to another kid,
100%.
or gets him in the game like that.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely, absolutely. And I love listening to people sing other people's stuff because again, you put your own twist on it. You know what I mean? People don't try to copy. Like, here's my thing about everybody playing everybody else's music is don't try to copy them. Be yourself and play how their music the way you want to. You know what I mean? Because that's more inspiring than you getting up and singing a Luke Combs song the way Luke Combs sings it. I mean, like, I don't want to hear you sing Luke Combs the way Luke Combs sings Luke Combs. I want to hear you sing Luke Combs the way Matt Waters sings Luke Combs, if that makes sense.
absolutely. Yeah, and I think, like, you know, some of the greatest covers of all, like "Hurt" by Johnny Cash. You know, like him doing this super heavy metal song and making it the greatest of country ballads ever. But like, you know, as a kid, I got that compliment a lot where someone said, you don't sound like you're them. You sound like you're doing their song, and I like that. And sometimes that becomes a crutch to keep sounding the way you do. And one thing I've learned about playing in a couple bands where I'm required to learn line by line everything they're talking about is the appreciation of trying to take something that you heard, something that you felt, something that was gifted to you, and truly replicate it down to the little things that made it special. You know, not just the right note, but the right feeling when you bent that string and that kind of shit. That makes you rise to the top. But there is a point in time where you lose your individuality in that kind of like virtuosic attempt.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the big word that you want to use is like music's about individuality, right? I
Yeah.
mean, you want to be your own you. And that's how it goes for life. You want to be your own basketball player, own football player, own scientist. You want to do your own things. But you're going to have to take bits and pieces off of the people before you because they're showing you, I don't know how to say that. They're showing you the ropes, I guess. I don't know, but
Yeah.
they give you what inspired you to be doing this. You know what I mean?
You know, your heroes show you so much of not only how to do it, but what you could do. You know, like people that kicked through glass ceilings, so you never had to think about a barrier being there. You know, it just in the world of rock and roll, we would be nowhere without some serious fucking animals out there, like a Keith Richards type, who's been burning it down since the '60s. Like, that's a G that we couldn't do this without. But if you spend your life trying to be Keith, you end up being a hack. You know, like that's so tough on the heart.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Yes. So where do you get, like, you know, I can tell that you're a very passionate person. You are driven to this by something in your soul. It's who you are. Are you a very intuitive person? Is your intuition what leads you a lot in your life?
Okay, so explain that a little more to me. What do you mean by that?
Do you live your life based on facts or feelings? You know, like, are you the type that likes to stay optimistic just because you want to, or are you a realist about all things?
I like to. I mean, like, my thing is like, my goal in life. This is my real goal in life. Before anything, and I say this to everybody, is that when I wake up in the morning and I walk outside, all I care about is making one person smile, make one person happy, and that's it. That's how I live my life. Because again, whether it's through my music, which I hope I do, and I hopefully think I do, or it's just walking down the street to a random person walking by and complimenting them. I want people to understand that life is sometimes a shitty thing, but we're all here together and we need to enjoy it together. We need to respect each other. We need to be one because we are one, and nobody's really greater than anybody else. Some people have things that might spark different people's interests, but we're all one here. You know what I mean? Like, in my music writing, I try to say dark sides of stuff that we all feel, but also like these good things that inspire people to love life and love people a little better, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And is this?
I don't know if I answered your question, but that's
No, I think it's a great answer, and you know, I think there's different ways of walking through your life, and some people need a lot of rhyme or reason to lead positively into such a difficult career path.
Absolutely.
But you are someone that seems confident in that pursuit, And sometimes you want to figure out what's at the root of those things for people, because it enables other folks to feel it.
Yeah.
It's special when someone has that outlet of, I'm here to spread the little bit of joy that I've been given. You know, I counted my blessings, and now it is time to share them.
Yeah.
And-
And it's tough because like stage fright. I wrote a song, one of my first songs I ever wrote. It was called Eyes of the Enemy. Stage fright is the hardest thing to get over, especially if you're singing for, I think it's harder to sing for two people in a room than 60 to 150 people in a room. You know what I mean? I think it's way different because you want these people to enjoy what you're doing or be inspired by what you're doing, but it's a tough thing to do because who knows, they could fucking hate it, and then that's going to tear you down. But I think the things that tear you down also build you and makes you stronger and makes you want to work harder and push harder and be like, not even prove them wrong, but prove yourself wrong in ways that people are going to tear everybody down. Everybody's going to get teared down, and that's just how it goes. You can't change and you can't fix everybody, but that's why I say I don't want to fix anybody. I want to make one person smile. That's it.
And I respect how you came, back for that. And, well, it's a really hard pursuit, man. Like you said, moments where you're in front of 2 people or 5 people. Like I play music 6 nights a week, 5 nights a week, all the time for the last 2 to 3 years of my life, and it's awesome. I'm so grateful for that. But there are nights where I'm not having the best time, and neither are people there, and you can kind of feel these moods and these auras in the air, and the world is difficult. But you have the opportunity as a entertainer and a personality to suspend their belief in something else for a second. Like you can create magic in some kind of ways. And I had a bunch of friends this week just saying over and over again, like, music is magic. When I think about going to see John Mayer for the first time, this was someone that they gifted me tickets. They took me to this show. It's my buddy Liam. And in my mind, this is going to be one of the greatest nights of my life. That initial inception, that thought, has opened me up to a different realm of enjoying it. What if someone comes into your show with the opposite of that? This can be the worst night of my life. Why am I going to the bar? Why am I sitting in the banks right now? So, where you have to go from a state of vulnerability and willingness to throw that person a fucking bone, try to sweeten up the deal for a little bit. You got to have a wide variety of songs and a wide variety of heart and reasons why.
100%. That is true. What I love about my songwriting is when I bring it to the table. I mean, I wrote this song and it was called "Choose My Grave," and I sang it at this bar, and it was kind of a little dive bar. And this 80-year-old man came up to me on my break, and he was like, "That song was yours?" And I was like, "Yeah, I wrote that one last year or something." And he's like, "I don't know." He's like, "How old are you?" And I told him I was 22 at the time, and I'm still 22. But he was like, "How could you write something that I can relate to so much throughout my life?" And first off, that was very cool because that's what I want to do. I want to connect with people on that sort of thing, and being able to connect with kids now, because now my crowd is spamming between 20s and 40s. You know what I mean? That's my big crowd right now in the area that I'm in. But it's cool that I have this younger crowd that's loving my stuff, and then I even have this older crowd that is like relating to my songwriting, relating to stuff I say. And again, I think that's one of my, truthfully, "Choose My Grave," I think is one of my coolest, deepest, little bit of a storytelling songs that I have. But that was neat for me.
Yeah.
That was a neat experience, having an older gentleman that had no idea who he was come up and say, "How could you relate to something that I've been here for 80 years and you're relating to my life?" And that was cool.
It's really touching, man.
Oh yeah.
It's one of the ways that this career, opens you up to a type of living that most people don't get to see. Where your friend could be, 86 years old on the way out. It doesn't matter. When you write music, once it leaves your mouth, once it leaves you for the first time, it is of its own doing. And it took on a life of its own in their life. It can plant seeds. Like think of the greatest songs in your life, and the moments where nothing's playing but you hear them and you realize that in your movie, the soundtrack just fits so
Yeah.
damn good.
Exactly. That's
Yeah, it's so we're fortunate that the music fits on top of a lot of rest of life, whereas like audio visual stuff really doesn't as much. Like that's a set and setting. You need one sense to perceive that, versus our senses can be we can be passive members of what they're doing.
yeah. So I mean, music is inspiring, and I've been in the game. Well, really, I've been in the game for 2 years now. I've been in the bar scene 2.5 years, about to be 23. So since I was 21, I finally got into the bar scene, which was nice. And one thing I do have to say is that, like, I mean, the crowd's got to bring the energy, because I played at so many different spots, and like playing at a restaurant where everybody's sitting there. You know what I mean? You're just background music, but you got to be that background music. You gotta still play your show how you want to play your show and how you do play your show. But then, I mean, the energy of like having your people there, and that, I mean, the other day, first time it's ever happened, and now it's happening all the time. Coolest feeling I've ever had in my life. Seriously, it beats any high in this world. Was I was playing at Mount Lookout Tavern, and everyone's just was sitting there chanting my song back to me, and I was just like, wow, that's a feeling that it was crazy. It was better than any drug. It was a good emotion having people sit there, and I didn't even have to sing into the microphone. I stepped away and they're all chanting my song back to me. So that was a neat feeling to have. But the energy definitely is, because that's what life's about. It's about the energy, and the energy that people bring, the energy that's around you. And you got to always have that good energy around you. And again, bad energy is going to be there. Everybody goes through bad energy. Everybody has bad energy. But sometimes you just got to bring out that good energy, and
For sure.
it's a big thing in this world, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. I don't think I've ever had a moment where you have a whole room screaming it back at you like that. That's a really special thing, and a great point of accreditation for the fact that these people love your music enough that they want to participate in it. And like, man, the difference in participating in the music and just watching it go by is something that you and I know very well. You've picked it up. You've been the inception of why it happened. There's something about closing your eyes and the air is spinning around you with the noise that you have made, and you can feel it in every fiber of what you are. And it's like, that's so cool.
Yeah. And have you ever heard of a guy named John Craigie? I think it's
I am not.
Craigie, something like, I forget. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
But he has a cool song, and it's called "I Wrote Mr. Tambourine Man." Excuse me. And
It's called I Wrote Mr. Tambourine.
I
Man.
wrote Mr. Tambourine Man.
That's super punk.
And one of his last verses, he's like, never trust a musician who plays with their eyes open. All the good shit happens when they're closed. You gotta give yourself the shivers before you can give them to someone else. So I think that's just a cool line, because, like, I mean, that's true. You gotta feel it. You gotta give yourself that shiver and feeling so
Yeah.
you can pass that on to the next person.
Yeah, man, you're so right. What a great quote too. Like, that's kick ass.
Yeah, if you haven't heard, you need to go listen to that one of these days.
Yeah.
There's some cool lines in there, and he's a great songwriter, and I definitely am inspired by his stuff, just like many other ones. But yeah, It's just cool. It's cool the different things. Rather than, I love mainstream music and I understand mainstream music, but I am big in the storytelling, the new. I mean, that's the best way I love the storytelling, and I mean that's what music is. But I mean, each genre, each song, everything, each person is different, and again, it's how you portray your story. But there's some cool writing in this world, and
That's for sure, man. Oh, and like, we're subject to only this much of it. We only know this much popular music of our own language and certain time frame.
absolutely.
But you're right. It's like, it's the way that you can take them on a journey. Like, I think of, like, Brandy by Looking Glass. I was playing that the other day. There's a port on the Western Bay.
Yeah.
It's like, you feel this whole little city block in a 4-minute song, and it's not the greatest song in the world. Like, it's ridiculously catchy, but it's a great story, man. Like, you hurt for Brandy by the end. Her man's at sea, like shit's real. Like,
It's real, yeah.
there's octopi out in this. It could be Pirates of the Caribbean in her fucking life. You do not know what she's going through, dog.
Exactly, dude. That's funny. I just wrote a new song the other day. It's called "Blood, Gold, and Fur."
Okay.
It's about a guy being out at sea and his ship's crashing and he ends up sending a love letter to his main woman back on the mainland and hoping that it gets to her. And again, it's not like the crazy song, but it's just like this cool, like kind of like Captain Jack Sparrow type
Yeah.
of song that is like.
And where does
little
that premise
pirate.
come from in your head? Like,
See, I don't know. I just wrote it one day. I was sitting out in actually out in a field in Cleveland, and I was sitting there writing, and just came to me. I was like, it'd be cool to write a song like "Blood, Gold, and Fur."
okay,
Just because,
okay.
like,
You started there with
it-
that bang, bang,
with-
bang.
Yep, and
Nice.
and then yeah, and
It's really cool when like a premise hits you that hard, and then you're watching the movie and you're just jotting as you go.
exactly.
You write on your phone. You write by hand. How you do it?
So it's all over the place. Like, I mean, I got notebooks that are filled with writing, but on the spot, I like writing on my notes just because I can jump over to voice memos. I got so many songs on it just because, again, when you're writing so many different songs, you lose so many different songs just as fast. There's so many songs that I've written that I'll never hear again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're gone. They're
exactly.
lost in the wind. I mean,
Yeah.
like I had that feeling, I had that thought. So that's why it's nice with the technology we have. I mean, we can jump on, boom, press record. Here, this is what I want. Boom, it's there.
Yeah.
Now we can come back to it. We can do it there, whatever. But again, there's so many times that I've been like, oh, I want to do something with this. Driving in the car and boom, I'll never go back to it. You know what I mean? I have
Yeah.
so many lost.
But in that way, you can't be precious about every little piece of material. But like, how does that relate to the rate that you like to put out music? Like, you've been putting out some songs as of recent. Do you like to toil over it and then say it's done, or are you kind of like, she's arrived?
She's arrived. Well, see, a lot of my stuff right now is like acoustic stuff. I run through it, I sing it, boom, let's throw it out there. That's what they want. I need to go and get some full range stuff out there. Again, I've worked with a lot of talented engineers, a lot of talented producers, and I don't know. I need because it's kind of hard because some of my music, like if a drummer jumps on my songs, some of them I gotta learn how to stay on, because they say that there's a chart, right? There's a chart we gotta follow as a drummers, as recording music, and I don't know what it is, but I'm looking for. But sometimes when I'm writing my music and when I play it live, which is nice about playing it acoustically, is like I can be wherever I want, slow it down,
Yeah.
go quick. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's just like I can be off tempo, really.
Yeah.
So that's my biggest thing in the studio is I got to work on keeping my music on tempo, if that makes sense.
For sure. Well, it's a hard thing to do, to learn to play to a click, and it's also cool that, like, you're saying intentionally you want to move off the click. And again, the technology we live with, like, compared to the guys that made some of the greatest records of all time, like, we're talking about things they would have paid millions of dollars for, and you get it for free with your new MacBook. Like, it's the shit. But you can tempo map the whole song. So say you come in and knock out a performance and you're sitting at 112, 114, 113. It would be hell, but you could map that and you could figure that out for a drummer.
For sure.
But it's just like a tough moment. But it's cool, though, to say, like, it is best just you and your guitar for a certain amount of things until you want different.
Exactly. And I mean, not every song, but like, excuse me, I'm over here.
Yeah, you're fine.
No, it is. It's neat, but it's hard getting like. It's because some drummers tell me they're like, oh no, I can't do this. You're not on the chart. You're not on the tempo.
Yeah.
You're not on this. And but then some are like, boom, we got it. I can do this. Let's do it. Let's rock it out. And it's tough because I'm loud when I sing.
Yeah.
I'm loud, so
You're a belter for
oh,
sure.
for sure, for
But
sure.
it's a good. That's why people feel it, man. Because you couldn't hold it back.
So yeah, and that's another thing that is a struggle in the studio is like I'm just like sometimes it's like down here and then it's like all of a sudden boom, like where the hell did this fucking come from? It's
Yeah.
like bouncing off the walls and it's loud and so that's one thing I got to work on is playing with the mic because I got to learn how to come back here when I'm up there and then stay up here. But when I'm up on stage, I don't know about you, but I love, and I don't know if this is weird, but I love being up on the mic and kissing the mic and just be like, well, it also like lets me stay there. It like, because I love moving. I love moving, especially when I'm up on stage. You know, we love moving. Like I couldn't just sit there and just go. My feet got to be moving.
You got to be free to kind of live up there, man.
Yeah, but so when I'm singing, sometimes I like kissing the mic. So I'm like, okay, so we got to stay right here. We can't move just yet.
Yeah.
And then boom, let's go. Let's move. Let's run around. Let's flow. Just
And there's certain parts of your voice that access when you push like that. Like I remember a mentor of mine when I was a kid saying like, hey, you should be able to sing every note that your voice is capable of at the same volume. To get up here, you shouldn't have to push this much louder. You should be able to get to that note. It's like, okay, yeah, so there's something in that. But then there's also, take a walk on the wild side. Like if you push, your vocal cords are going to slam. It's like distorting an amp. And those things are magic. You like to hear a little bit of that torment, man.
Yeah, for sure.
I like to hear that your voice is scratching. You've been drinking, Like
yeah.
And it's hard in the studio when someone doesn't know how to tame that necessarily. There's only so many ways you can.
And that's one other thing is like, dude, my live stuff is way different than my recorded stuff because like when you're in the studio and you're just playing, you want it to be boom, you want it to be perfect. You're like, okay, it needs to be so smooth and so this, but like when you're at a bar playing, you got this emotion running through you. You got this rasp that you're throwing out there. You're feeling the energy, you know what I mean? So it's like playing live for me, especially from what I've been told, is like my live stuff, which is a good thing, but also I don't know in this generation because like a lot of the people that aren't able to come out and see me just yet are only able to hear me off their phone, off the internet, you know what I mean? But from the people that do hear me, they're like, oh, dude, your live stuff doesn't even explain what your recorded stuff is. We want it not to be so like cleaned up, if that makes sense. We want to hear that rasp. We want to hear that rawness. We want to feel what we're feeling because, again, that's what I try to go out there and do. As much as I'm trying to spread the music, I'm trying to make people feel some type of way, if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely, man. But to be honest with you, like I had the same issue, and I still got the same issue. I think we're all trying to find the closest version to what you really are.
You really, yeah.
Yeah, and like in the live setting, like you are free to be that and to fall into it and to make no sense of it, but just live it out.
Yeah.
But I started getting closer to it when I took control of that stuff. Because even if I have a messy process, even if I don't save my files right, I got a shitty interface and a bad mic. Doing it the way that I want to do it is the only way that it's going to end up being like me. And it's been super informative as to things I was missing. I've learned so much for that. And now, like, I do a little bit like the production consultation stuff, like almost like we were talking about with Kev, like you send someone lyrics or something like that. But it's like, let's bring in a song here and try to get that thing out. And that process has taught me a lot about working with other people and also trying to get out of their lives. Like, hey, you sound great. The more you do, the more it's going to be you. So, like, let's quit working together so you can keep doing you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Something cool. I don't know if I really should bring this up, but I was trying to pass one of my songs on, and the feedback I got from trying to pass a song on to somebody else was like, the person that wrote this song sounds like the only person that can sing this song. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So again, like that was cool feedback. Like I write stuff that like is unique and that. It was when I wrote a song, it was like, Tuesday Night Poker, and it was like, well, it was Tuesday night, Jack, Coke, and bourbon, boys back in town. They were shuffling and folding, holding double pair. Anyways, it's like this
I like
this
it.
poker song that I wrote, which was fun. One night I was sitting with my buddies. We used to play Tuesday Night Poker just to get together and just hang out and just for shits and giggles. And we were sitting there one night, and they're like, Max, you need to write a song about Tuesday Night Poker. And we ran upstairs with my buddy's guitar. I grabbed the guitar, and I literally wrote this song in 15 minutes with my buddies just sitting
That's
there, just
gnarly.
listening to me write this song. So it's kind of funny. It was a fun time, but
Man, no one's ever played any tunes on this podcast. You want to play a tune or two?
I'd love to play a tune
Let
if
me,
you
let
want
me
to
get a
listen.
cable out real quick. You want any Jack? I'm gonna get.
I would love some
Okay,
Jack,
I'll
yeah.
get some shot glass. Hey, while I'm gone, why don't you tell these people about your new song online?
Okay, so I got a couple songs out. I just released a new song called Howlin' at the Moon. And like I said, a lot of my songs right now that are out are acoustic stuff. Some of them are up in the air, like full arrangement songs. I have a song out there, full arrangement I did up in Detroit. Solid. It's called Die Like Superman. So that one's streaming on all platforms. And then, Howling at the Moon and Soul from Another are probably my two that people are eating up right now. I also got a couple songs that I've been meaning to push. But I play all around Cincy area right now, which is nice. Playing at MLT's, Oak Tavern. I got a gig at Oak Tavern tonight, which is going to be fun. But yeah, on social media, on Spotify, on Apple Music, on YouTube Music under Max Geers. That's with 2 E's.
I spelled your shit all wrong. My phone, Gears.
I know.
No, that ain't right. I saw it on the Spotify. I gotta get it together.
That's hilarious. Yeah. So it's Max Geers, Geers, and out on all platforms is Die Like Superman, Howlin' at the Moon, Soul from Another. I got a new song out there called Ohio, which people are liking. But go check it out. I hope you all enjoy and.
Play a little of that guitar for me. That's coming through okay. Is that enough for you? You want a little less?
No, I think that's perfect.
Okay, cool. Okay, I would like to start with this Tuesday Night Poker. You got me with these first couple lines. You are a songwriter, man. A lot of people had said that before we had met, and it's really been true. I like your tunes are exquisite. You know, like your tastes are weird and fun. And
I
that's what we
appreciate
all like,
that.
man.
So this one, I'm just gonna give you a little taste of this one because I don't have this one completely finished, and I actually do, but I don't have it memorized exactly how I want to memorize it.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you, but it's loud, so it starts off, and I can't even play the guitar to it right now, but. And then I turned it into a strumming, so it would be like, well, it was Tuesday night, Jack, Coke, and bourbon, and boys back in town. They were shuffling and folding, holding double pair. Gave me a shiver, killed me a card, and showed me the river. And then it goes way up, and it goes, well, flipping faces and aces throwing down on the flush. Who's got the queen and who's got the bluff? There's a quart on the table. Bankers got me poor. Double up the ante. Let's proceed into war. Whoa. Yeah, I don't even know it, dude. Yeah, but anyways, that's a little tiny, like, shitty rough draft of that one. But that one's fun. I like that one.
Yeah, man. Great lyrics, great melodies too.
I appreciate.
I'm not gonna scoot this too quick, but
No, here. Well, cheers, brother.
cheers, man.
Appreciate you having me out.
Max,
excited
I
to
knew
be
from the
here.
moment that we met that we were gonna be buddies, and I would love you forever, man.
Absolutely.
To keep doing you.
All love. Okay. So here, this one's slow. Let's see if we can. So this is my pirate song.
Okay.
That's cool. I don't know. I tried to fight, couldn't take a step. And I'm stuck in a chest at the bottom of a shipwreck. Low tide, flag high, dry your eye and a cannonball. If I die, I just would like you to know that there came the wave tumbling down. I lost my men on the port in the bow. Moon just observed while the boat got submerged. Sharks in the water, blood, gold, and fur. And then, yeah. Oh, yeah. I might gotta tune this up a minute. Yeah. I can't hear it as much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it goes. Wrote a letter in a bottle, sent it out in the wave. Breath holding under, lungs filled with clay. And there's gold in my pocket, stole as the same. Honey, hope you get this sign. Love cast away, love cast away. Yeah, so anyways, that's much blood, gold, and fur, which is... Let me tune this sucker.
Yeah.
Here, actually, you know what? I might be the shittiest musician in the world because I can't even tune by ear.
Really?
Yeah, can you do it?
I got you.
Ooh, my bad.
I'll go play. Unplug that real quick.
Okay, so...
They can deal with the pop.
So, no, I had... You know what I'd say? I don't know... Do you do any shows where you're just playing it instrumentally?
I don't do any instrument. Like, I'll do instrumental pieces during a set if I want to, but most of the time, like, that's very free form, like nothing planned.
Yeah.
Just to see if I fall into something fun. But no, I never really write instrumental pieces.
Nice.
What about you?
Well, no, that was one thing I was gonna say is like, I mean, 3-hour shows. I know we all gotta go through the grind and through the what I don't even know how to say that, but dude, I'll tell you, playing back-to-back 3-hour, 4-hour shows, screaming, especially with some of my songs, I'm way up there.
Yeah, man. It's. Oh, watch that beer. Perfect. Yeah, like it's training on. It's training on the body, but like, what are you training for? It's not like the good gigs are 4 hours long, unless you're McCartney. It's like down to like the lower bass, that underneath of the. You see that? Flip it upside down real quick. You'll see what I'm talking about. It's kind of like hidden.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, but like unless you're McCartney, you're not going out and doing 4 hours of tunes, and preparing for that kind of a thing may not be better for your voice. It may cause long-term issues that you got to worry about. And like, we should all be a little bit more considerate to the fact that this is a muscle and you can get strains and tears and inflammation that's going to mess you up long-term.
Absolutely. That's the truth. And that's something we got to focus on. I mean, they say drink honey and tea, and I don't know. What do you drink during your gigs? That's a question.
Liquor.
Liquor? Yeah, that's always nice.
Well, I don't like drinking beer much on the gigs. That kind of gets me like mucusy.
Well, like even we're sitting here, I'm like burping drinking a beer. That's how I feel drinking a beer.
But like, I drink a lot of water. But the truth for me is that if I didn't warm up, I'm going to blow it. And
so you do warm-ups?
Yeah. I do a 10-minute warm-up. And it's one routine that I learned from a vocal coach where it's just getting like, especially for us dudes that are going up to the higher part of our register, you want to do that with as little exertion as possible. Like, you want it to be your chest voice, but you don't want to have to strain. You should never show people pushing 100%, because pushing 100% means tomorrow you can only push 90, and the day after that 70, and then you're at 50% all week because you blew it out on a Tuesday night and having a good time, which is, we're all allowed to do it, but it doesn't help the week.
It doesn't help the week. No, that's for sure. I mean, that's why I try to play. I try to play four at least 4 nights a week. I try to get it. Sometimes because some of my stuff, I'm up there. Like, if I can show you one more song, if you're
please,
all right with
I would love that.
Would you want to hear "Howlin' at the Moon"?
I would love to.
Okay, so this is my big song. This is the cool one that everybody howls back to me. Which I wrote this song so it can engage with the people and engage with the bar scene and engage with just kind of being a part of the night.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. So this one's called "Howlin' at the Moon," and it's this. Well, there's records on my nightstand from the nights I would get late, and the others throwing fists inside the walls that I left caved. There's burn marks on my wrist marking the sins that I portray. I'm as broken as a bottle in the streets that I once played. And this is where it just goes way too high. Do you hear me? I'm in the dark, and I'm howling at the moon with the stainless heart. We keep howling, howling at the moon. See how this one goes. And
I streamed it. I got you.
I'll give you one more verse right here because I do like this verse.
Okay.
I found myself a wolf pack out of the skirts of New Orleans. They would comfort me till dawn again, then they'd hear me scream. I told them that I loved them, but I never found the key that was burning in the fire deep below the misery. Do you hear me? I'm in the dark, and I'm howling at the moon with the stainless hearts. We keep howling, howling at the moon. Howling at the moon. Yeah, anyways, that was a little rough.
Fuck
cut,
yeah.
but-
No, dude, I love it. I love it. Well, Max, thank you so much for coming on today. I really
Absolutely,
appreciate it,
man.
dog.
Yeah, this was an absolute ball. I appreciate you. I thank you. And
Yeah, absolutely, man. I look forward to the Muse next month. I'm glad you get to come out for that, man.
Absolutely. I'm super excited. So we got Little Miami.
Yeah, we're going to, hopefully. So they still got to confirm. Little Miami, get your shit together,
Little
Joe.
Miami, let's go, baby.
But we got Latitudes on
Latitudes.
December 19th. And hopefully, if we can work it out, we're going to do same lineup at Little Miami the week before. So.
Badass, yeah.
Yeah.
Little Latitudes was my old stomping grounds.
Oh,
That's-
you grew up in Anderson?
That's where I have. So I used to play some shows over there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I haven't been there in a minute, so I'm excited about that.
I'm glad for it, man.
So, nope, I appreciate you, dude.
I appreciate you. Check him out, everybody. Max Gears. All right, we'll get you some more.
That's Max Gears, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. A quick rundown of my dates tonight. I'm going to Cleveland. I'm going to be the Westin from 5 to 8 p.m. downtown. So, Cleveland friends, come see me. Saturday afternoon, I'm playing the Easy Set. I'm going to be at Kroger's over in Anderson from 12 to 3. Sunday, every single Sunday night, the sweetness that it is, 8 to midnight. I'm at Fishbowl at the Banks. Let me see what I forgot about. Next week, I'm going to be at the Crooner Circus at Big Ash over in Anderson with Noah Smith, the whole damn gang. So please come see me. On the 18th, I'm going to be at Shorty's Sugar Tip Pub with my man Nick Hack, duo style. The 20th is another sweet Sunday, and you know where to find me. My friends, that's the good news, all the news. That's all I got. Peace for it.